Alright, in this video we're going to talk about Kershaw. Yes, not Benchmade, not Spyderco, Kershaw. A company that they actually get some things very right, and we're going to talk about my opinion on what they do right as a company and what they can offer you, the knife buyer and the knife user. Now you see before me my current Kershaw collection, 25 knives by my count, including, you see, 3 fixed blades up there. Now some of these I had purely to review them. Others I have, especially some of their more expensive, for Kershaw, some of their pricier ones, I highly recommend, not just for a beginner and not just for someone on a budget, but for anyone who wants knives that actually work. Alright, now what does Kershaw get right as a company? Well, I thought about it for a while and I realized one very important thing. Kershaw basically dominates the everyday carry folding knife market. Now you might say, what? You might think, what about Benchmade? What about Spyderco? Look, Kershaw gives you everyday carry folding knives in the, let's say, around 3 to 3.5 inch blade length category at a budget price. Now, if you know about knives, that blade length and that price range is virtually the entire EDC market. That's like 98% of the market, all right? All the knives we see in reviews that are $100, $200, that's maybe like 2% of that whole market, and that's where things get skewed because we tend to watch reviewers. Reviewers tend to be experts, people that have gone past the budget phase and are into the highest quality, at higher prices. And that does not represent, the millions of working people out there and sportsmen that make up the majority of the people actually buying knives. But just as an example, the Kershaw Skyline and the Kershaw Leak, just those two models by Kershaw, I mean, there's got to be tens of thousands of people carrying, just one or both of those two models. The Skyline and the Leak are huge. All right, there's a lot of, also, the Brawler was on sale this year. It was like a value pack. The Brawler, along with a flashlight and I think one other tool for like $10 to $15. I know for a fact thousands of people bought it on sale because my video got a bazillion hits when that happened, and I got a lot of messages about it. And when I really sat down and faced the facts of, like, if you took all the people that carry a small folding knife as a working tool every day, talking carpenters, contractors, plumbers, outdoorsmen, everyone who might carry one as a working tool, I bet that Kershaw would be the most strongly represented company if you could somehow take a poll of what everyone is carrying. For every person carrying Spyderco paramilitary, there's probably like 20 people carrying a Leak or a Skyline. Right? And why is that? Well, number one, they give you a lot of options. I mean, look at all the budget knives they have around the same size range and price range, right? So they have something for everyone. If you want a Tanto, whatever, you can get it. Second of all, they use flippers as their opening mechanism. And, for the general public that are not super knowledgeable about knives, a flipper is just the easiest and safest freaking deployment mechanism to learn to use, okay? So they're catering to the 100 million people out there that, are not necessarily knife experts. Also, Kershaws are widely available in stores. You can walk into a sporting goods store and bam, an assortment of Kershaws, all right? Unlike some really good companies that are also very small and very specialized that you can only get if you order away from a few stores, okay? So they're available. All right, and here are some Kershaws that I definitely recommend. You have the Gold Leak there, which is Sandvik, but next to that, the S30V Kershaw Leak G10 handle scales. I definitely recommend that as a smaller size everyday carry. It has a very pointed tip, okay, so it's definitely not a pry bar, but for everything else, for your slicing and cutting tasks, that's a great knife. Next to that, the Kershaw Blur in S30V, one of the most affordable knives that come in that high quality stainless steel, definitely recommended. Next to that, the Kershaw Knockout, just a very sturdy knife. I think extra wide drop points are is one of the most useful blade shapes overall. Next to that, an older one, that is the Kershaw Rake. All right, it has two steels, but the steel of the edge is D2. And overall, you know, it's a nice 3.5-inch folding knife, D2, good strong tool steel, easy to deploy. It's a nice blade. Right on the right, some classic older Kershaws, particularly the Kershaw Lahar on the far right. They had the last batch of these that Blade HQ just bought up from somewhere, and they were selling them for, I forget what they were selling them for, like, I don't know, 40, 50, something like that. Several people messaged me and asked me, is that worth it? Yes, definitely it is worth it. If you can find one for 50, definitely get it. You know, Kershaw's older models in some ways were higher quality than their newer, but they're also a little higher in price. But yeah, older Kershaws, I'm a fan of older Kershaws. All right, and more classic Kershaws on the far left, my two Kershaw Cyclones, still an excellent knife. I wish they would bring that back, actually. And next to that, the Tirade. You know, before some of the bigger, heavier built folders that have come out, you know, in the last year or two, the Tirade was actually considered a big, heavy folder. Not so big compared to some of the ZT stuff now, but still, in its day, it was quite a beast, and it really still is. If you're a big guy with big hands, it could still serve. Kershaw Fix Blades. You got the big one is the Bear Hunter 2, and then you have the Antelope Hunter, and then the special Skyline Fix Blade they came out with. I definitely represent, yeah, I'm repping Kershaw. No, I definitely recommend those two fixed blades with the black handles. You might say, what the hell happened to the handle on that other one? You know, I really like the knife, especially for the like $20 it was, but the finger grooves just didn't fit my hand. So I just cut them off, and I put, you know, I carved in that choked in portion, and it fits my hand much better now. But yeah, the Bear Hunter 2 and Antelope Hunter, I mean, for the $20 they are, yes, highly recommended all day long. All right, and let's just do some, you know, some slow passes and flybys. I've mentioned what Kershaw gets right. All right, the small and mid-sized budget everyday carry market, they're doing very well there. But what do they get wrong, or where could Kershaw improve? Well, of course, this is, you know, just purely my opinion, all right? So, but I think, you know, they could improve in terms of putting out more higher-end production folders. They did put out the Tilt, all right, and it was actually very successful. I know a lot of people who got the Tilt, many favorable reviews. And also, I have to say, the frame lock, the lock bar on the Tilt was very innovative, the way they did that at an angle. You know, people say, oh, there's no more innovations left to do. Well, the Tilt's lock bar was a perfect example of a true innovation. All right, but the Tilt, you know, it went for around $200, I think. But that was only one model. They could do a lot more in terms of introducing stuff to compete head-to-head in, let's say, the $120 price range. You know, compete head-to-head with the Spyderco military and paramilitary. And introduce a model that can compete head-to-head with some of the Benchmade stuff that is around the 140 to 160 range. You know? If they did that, Kershaw would be beast. I mean, they already dominate, you know, the $30 work knife folder range. Imagine if they started competing with the big boys, you know, in the 100 to 200 range. Yeah, I know people will say, but Zero Tolerance already does that, you know, the sister company of Kershaw. Yeah, but ZT is very specialized. they're specialized in overbuilt, extra hard use heavy folders. Does that sound like something that can compete with the paramilitary? No, it's totally different styles of knife. So again, there is ample room for Kershaw to compete in those categories. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed seeing my little Kershaw collection and the discussion of where I think Kershaw fits in, what they can do right or wrong. Obviously, just my opinions. Hey, in the comments section, whether you love them or hate them, write what you think of Kershaw, what experiences you've had, if you've used their knives in the field, if you've done, if you've experienced, if you tried out their warranty, for example. Tell me what you think of Kershaw. You love them or hate them. Where are they in terms of, are they your first knife company or 8th or 9th? Either way, let me know. Stay tuned for many more videos. I'm out.